Hey everybody, what's up? How are you doing? A quick one this time. It's not so much something that is purely scriptural or even so much biblical as such. It's more, again, in terms of the greater works of faith and more so into the greater realms of spirituality, which everybody knows I'm very much into by now that you've seen that regarding me, and particularly in the Calling of a Ravenous Bird series that I've just done, which was all about my spirit animal. And yeah, just to add more background as to how I got here and how I started actually releasing certain prophecies inspired by God, and just to share with the rest of society, because there are certain warnings and certain things that need to go to certain people. So this is just me being a channel, like I said, to in the greater works of reaching God's children. This is not even about me at all. So with this said, you see the title of the video. This is about what Tony Gaskins said, and I think he made this video about a week ago. In terms of him not being into this label of twin flames, soulmates, etc. And I have to say, I will say this: I agree with him in terms of the labels. Be very careful of labels, and this is why I say be careful of labels. And it's also in the same vein as he worded it, as when you accept certain people's labels, you will live it out. And that is so true. Sorry, I'm now paraphrasing it. I kind of forgot exactly what he said, but basically something to those lines, where if you take on the label, you then become it, and then you want to live that out, and don't live out other people's labels of what your relationships are. You know what I mean? But here's where I differ, and here's where I want to expand upon. And this is why I actually checked it through. I didn't really want to make it a habit of making response videos to high profile people and seem like I'm coming at them. That's not me. But again, at the same time, people are influential. People put out certain things, and much as it is correct and it is their perspective, and I will say something, I can also add something to the conversation, where not because I'm influential, but I'm just saying, here's something, consider it. You don't have to follow it. Please, I always say, whatever is said and whatever is brought upon your life, always check it with God, please. Like, that's one thing I will never ever try and take away from things. But now, because we're talking about soulmates and twin flames and life partners and in the realms of romantics, okay, I'll tell you something about me. My awakenings were very significantly well worked through relationships, okay, because like everything that happens, if you must understand how God operates, and he has something called the sovereign will, which is something that is about, this is what will happen, and it will not stop. And then there's also things where it's like prescribed will, where he says your prescribed will, and you follow that will onto your life. Otherwise, things will go a different direction, you know? So that's where the prescribed will comes in. And like when it comes to people, I will say, because we all have free will, okay, as whether we choose to love God and serve Him, or we choose to listen to the enemy. You cannot serve two masters. So therefore, I will say, I've had significant relationships, and one of which was very significant, okay, where before even meeting a certain person, a certain hint was given that it'll be significant and I will feel a certain way. So I understand why people use the terminologies like they do, like soulmates, soul connections, and all that, because you do not make this up. I mean, I'm not trying to make this up. I met someone and I'm like, okay, this is a weird, strange feeling. I've never really felt this before, and it's weird, and it's not like I didn't see, and it's not like some people do. I've heard it from certain people. When they first heard it, I was like, okay, I didn't believe in that stuff. I never did, and till it happened to me, and I'm like, okay, that has happened to me. So I do. This is where I believe actually happens is that what God will do is that He will show you somebody, right, and He would say to you, well, this is what I have in mind for you too, right? And this is how I want you to live out. And because remember, the original command for man was be fruitful and multiply, right? Say a man and a woman. Please, I don't know, I'm not gonna go into the whole homosexuality thing and being in that way gender fluid and all that because that's just not where I'm coming from. But yeah, if I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, I'm not gonna get into that. It's just not something that I've personally experienced, but some people will do that. Okay, but anyway, so what people will always do is that they'll feel a magnetic pull, and they'll wonder what it is. So it's just people sometimes also trying to interpret phenomenon. Okay, so yeah, because people will feel something, and they'll be like, well, I don't know what this is. This is something very strange. This is something very foreign. I've met a lot of people. I've been with a lot of I've dated a few people and all of this, but why does this feel so particularly strange? So yeah, and then when that happens, I think it's just the Holy Spirit just trying to draw people together. So that's what I have come to believe because not only have I experienced this, I've also experienced the other side of it. Whereas when things don't go a certain way, and let's say somebody falls out of the divine plan and the order of the sovereign will or the and the prescribed will to be in line with the sovereign will, okay, it also does go the other way where it no longer exists, where it's like this pull is just not there. Yes, you can still have revelations of a person. Yes, the activations, let me tell you, is actually rooted in truth. And if you believe that God is with is the truth, right? You will then understand that okay, so what I'm going through is true. You know what I mean? So when I feel this connection, but when the relationship itself is now centered in lies, that connection goes away. And I have seen that, guys. I made a video about it on my Patreon. Um, Hopefully you guys want to check it out as to what actually happened over there before I tell you, but this is what it is. And on top of that, let me tell you what also happens is that your souls will also manifest with other people, can also be so if you fall out of favor, somebody else is going to carry it out. That is also in line with the sovereign will. So you can prescribe yourself and get going with the prescription. It's like going to a doctor. A doctor can say to you, well, here's what I have for you to in order to get well, and then you choose not to take the medication, you know and then you'll have to live with the consequences of not taking it. So yeah, I mean, I know it's not to liken God with a doctor or something like that, or it could be a bad example what I just gave you, but this is where I'm just coming from in terms of understanding the perspective. Excuse me. So yeah, man. So yeah, man. Not to I think I've just not to ramble on too long, but mainly understand that look, yes, stay away from these such labels. I don't like using such labels, but what I will do say, I do believe in soul connections, and the prescribed will for two people to be fruitful and multiply, meaning not just having children and stuff. That is the one aspect of it, but also advancing the mandate of the kingdom as prescribed by God. Okay, so that's just one thing I will say. And who am I to say that you know it doesn't work in business as well? So and I'm not saying that in terms of that heartfelt connections and things. So because yeah, spirit is spirit and the body is body. Matter is different. So understanding the whole realm of balancing the yeah, your spirit, your balancing matter with the spirit as well, and also understanding the perspective of, as on earth, as it is in heaven, you know on earth as it is in heaven. So as above, so is below. So it's one of those things where you just need to understand that it does happen. Okay, it does happen. I don't care what Tony says, because that part is true, and I can attest to that. Just because it wasn't his experience, and now his experience was he chose that, and his wife chose that. Now that's true. You have to choose it, but I'm coming from the perspective of, say you you decided, like I did, and I'm like, well, look, I understand getting married is not something I can't say I never had the desire for it. I thought, well, if I'm going to do this because it's actually God's institution, should I not see God in it before even deciding to do it? Otherwise, I would have just been rolling these streets and just be doing what I want. So so sometimes you do need that guidance from above, is to say, okay, this is what you need to stay clear from, and you go out and experience and take what you need as a lesson. So that is very important. But on the other side, you also need to be balanced and understand that God is not forcing you to do certain things. If there's good reason, I would perhaps say, yeah, these, like I said earlier, if a relationship is rooted in lies, corruption, evil, that's when you need to leave it. Otherwise, it'll lead you to a different place and away from God's will. So, what a person chooses to do is what a person chooses to do. You always choose to serve Him, and you should always be your friend, and always, yeah, just involve God in everything. As particularly that I've noticed that, something I was saying to a friend of mine, that people will like to involve God in everything except when it comes to their spouses. And when the trouble comes, then whatever, did they ever seek them? No. So so also just be careful. I'm not saying that was Tony's intention, or maybe he just didn't articulate that anywhere, but I don't know, I'll have to go back and listen. But that's just one thing I will say to you guys, is that in everything. So yeah, mate. Sorry, I'm just saying mates, because this is a broadcast after all. But always remember just to always keep that perspective, and understand when things go awry. Yeah, understand that maybe is it time to reboot and look elsewhere and attend to your healing, or is it time to find pastures new? So this is this is the main thing, and these things are there to grow us, because we grow through our experiences, even our mistakes. Like Tony just said, that you need to learn from your mistakes. We're here to evolve. We're not perfect beings. We're here to evolve. We learn to grow, and then we ready ourselves. Like I wasn't the same person, on the exit as I was in the entrance of that last relationship that I had. And I'll put the link to the description box in case you haven't checked it out. It's a link to my Patreon. So, people, if you want to check that out and understand what happened over there, and as to what is being promised, and how things can be made anew, even in different situations, because, yeah, there's a lot in it. And always remember that you're laying foundations for the next generations through your relationships. And of course, you need to first understand the aspects of love, and you learn it as you go along, because yeah, it's not to say that, yeah, trauma dictates it. No, you need to rise and overcome and become you, and become born again. So that's what it is, in order to understand the treasures of the kingdom and to unlock them. All right, not to say I've unlocked it, but I'm trying. I really am. So yeah, this is just one of my contributions because I mean, if I don't tell my story, who is? Anyway, guys, love you. Hey, Tony, also, please don't take it the wrong way. If this reaches you, love you too, brother. It's not what it is. I'm only a year older than you. You seem to be in 1984. I'm like 83, so it's not like, and I've never been married or anything of the sort. So don't take it like that. I've had to do a go a different way, And oh, here's one more point I just wanted to make because Tony did mention that he got married around 23. Now that's okay, that happens, and I'm just trying to think when I was in 23, I had completed varsity or and I was just like yeah, also trying to find myself, so it was quite quite an early age, and I will tell you that I was nowhere near experienced and I was nowhere near this kind of person that I am now. So, he took a different route in his growth. So I just want to put that out there. So, at the time of this, you guys must just understand that this is what I believe, and because some people reach their peaks early, I'm not one of those. I'm a late bloomer, so I bloom. So, and I also believe in the theory of when you reach your peak, as in in sports, because Tony is also a sportsman. If I remember that he played football or college football, maybe on a scholarship or something. I could be wrong, but here's one aspect you must just understand that in sports, when you reach the age of 26, 27, that's when they say, oh yeah, you reach your peak, right? And you get there between 26 to 32 or something, you reach your physical peak, and which means that your mind and your physicalities um, are able to like sync perfectly, that you know how to play the game because your mind is on sync and your body still reacts the same way pretty much as it was in its early peak. And after the 32, that's when the decline happens. But in spirituality, let me put it this way, you also reach a peak where your spirituality gate opens and your perspective opens up. And at 23, yes, I had some early signs, I would say. Like, I'm not, there are certain prophecies that I made then that came right, but it was not like as regular as this and it was limited to certain things. Like, I will give you an example, like Lil Wayne, when nobody saw that when I was at varsity and he became, and I said it, that he's going to be a mega superstar. But now it's on a small scale, but it's just one of those things. So, as well, you also grow in spirit as you get older. So, you also reach a spiritual peak later. So, yeah, I just guess that I'm just glad that I avoided any situations while I was not at my peak spiritually at that time. So, yeah, man, just a perspective from one brother. Anyway, guys, much love for you. Speak soon. Peace. Bye bye.